Good afternoon. Today we will study about the phrase of a noun or a pronoun that is described by the interrogative determiner whose, what, or which. The interrogative determiner and the noun or pronoun is applied to link the subordinate clause to the main clause. So from that point, the interrogative determiner whose, what, or which becomes the subordinating conjunction. I did not wear makeup today because the plain appearance may be helpful for you to concentrate on the content of the class. Let's start to study about a subordinating conjunction that has the trait as a determiner and a subordinate clause as an indication, linked by the subordinating conjunction to the main clause. There are three determiners: whose, what, and which. The definition of the subordinating conjunction as a determiner in the phrase of a noun or a pronoun. The speaker applies an interrogative determiner and a noun or a pronoun to compose a phrase of a subordinating conjunction. The speaker describes the subject or object indicated by the noun or pronoun with the interrogative determiner applied as a subordinating conjunction in the subordinate clause. The fact that the interrogative clause starts with the interrogative determiner and the noun or pronoun is stated in the subordinate clause means that the interrogative clause is converted to the declarative clause. The phrase of the noun or pronoun to include the determiner indicates the described subject or object. The described subject or object indicated by the subordinate clause practices the role as a subject or object in the main clause. The subordinate clause has the trait as a pronoun because the speaker indicates the described subject or object in the subordinate clause as a subject or an object in the main clause. After the determiner is applied in the phrase of the noun or pronoun, the speaker does not have the interrogative intention. So the description by the determiner of noun or a pronoun does not convey the interrogative intention. The determiner, the premise, to describe the noun or pronoun. The speaker sets the phrase of the noun or pronoun to include the interrogative determiner as a shared indication in both subordinate clause and the main clause. We can think of the noun or pronoun as a relative noun. The direct conversion from the interrogative clause to the subordinate clause means that the speaker intends to quote the interrogative clause into a sentence as a subordinate clause. if I ask that, what hat do you like? The listeners will respond about the hat that the listeners like. And then I want to convey the response of the listeners to the other person. I heard what hat he likes. This is an example that the interrogative clause starts with the interrogative determiner to specify the range of the indication, converted as the subordinate clause. The speaker can describe the object, hat, with the first description is from the determiner, what. The description by the determiner what reveals that the object indicated by the general noun hat is not a person. The definition of the transitive verb like is conveyed from the subject reveals that the object is described with the experience, condition, or action. Especially the transitive verb like describes the condition of the subject. So the speaker can describe the object with the condition. From these advantages, the speaker applies the interrogative clause, starts with the interrogative determiner and a noun or a pronoun, converted or transformed into a subordinate clause, to a main clause. The speaker applies the phrase of the interrogative determiner and the noun or pronoun that links the subordinate clause to the main clause to quote the interrogative clause that the interrogative determiner is applied in and convey the same intention as the interrogative clause to the listeners. From the procedure to transform the interrogative clause into the subordinate clause, the subject is changed from the listeners to a male who does not participate in the conversation with the speaker, because the statement is conveyed from the same speaker to the different listeners. The listeners are considered to be plural, but the speaker can emphasize the only listener who participates in the conversation with the speaker at the point in time when the conversation takes place. The speaker links the subordinate clause converted from the interrogative clause that the interrogative determiner is applied in. The interrogative determiner is applied as a subordinating conjunction and consists of a phrase of a noun or a pronoun to link the subordinate clause to the main clause with the noun or pronoun. The speaker does not have the interrogative intention about the range of the subject or object indicated by the noun or pronoun because the noun or pronoun is applied in the declarative clause that becomes the subordinate clause. The determiner describes the noun or pronoun. The premise for applying the determiner in the interrogative clause. The interrogative determiner that consists of the phrase of the subordinating conjunction links the subordinate clause to the main clause and reveals the information about the range which the subject or object indicated by the noun or pronoun is included in, from the premise for the interrogative determiner to be applied.